Hello everyone associated with the Global Earth Exchange for 2020, and I'm delighted to be part of the harvest gathering component of this electronic festival. Trevi's asked me to talk about the concepts of solastalgia and soliphilia, two of the concepts I've developed over the last decade that relate to what I call psychoterratic states, or the states that connect our psyche, our emotions, to the state of the earth, both positive and negative. Solastalgia arose out of my confrontation with the open pit coal mining in the Upper Hunter region of New South Wales in Australia. And here, hundreds of square kilometres of land holdings, landscape that were formerly either natural savanna or farmlands, many of them dairy farms and quite productive. These areas were being dug up, blown up for the black coal which lies underneath. Coals in Permian strata, which are approximately 240 million years old. The coal, as we know, is burnt for electricity, and some coal is also burnt in the production of steel. So as a result, the demand for Hunter Valley coal is a worldwide demand, and it's dug up, burnt locally for power, but mainly exported in the hundreds of millions of tonnes per annum in order to feed the power stations of the world. So as a result, I am interested in how the mining process and the power station operations impact on the health and well-being of people who live in the area. I realised that there was something that needed to be understood more profoundly, a greater nuance than just by saying these people were distressed and that the distress was caused by coal mining. So I thought about the need for a new concept in the English language, and I knew that nostalgia traditionally had been defined as a form of homesickness or a form of melancholia that people got when they were absent from home and wished to return. And Hoffer, the physician, in 1688 or thereabouts, who created that term, called it an algia because algia has many connotations connected to sorrow, grief, and pain. And so the algia is not just a biomedical term, it's also a psychoterratic term. So nostos means to return home, and of course the cure for traditional nostalgia was to simply be repatriated if you were, say, in an army fighting on a foreign shore. To be repatriated means to return to the fatherland. And so you would be cured of your nostalgia because you were back home, and home is what gave you comfort and joy and a sense of belonging. However, the people that I were dealing with were emplaced. They were still at home, yet they were feeling a melancholia, a form of desolation themselves as a result of the desolation of their landscape. And I realised that there was no word in the English language to precisely describe that emplaced form of melancholia. I defined it briefly as the homesickness that you get when you're still at home. By contrast, the concept of soliphilia, which I developed a few years after the concept of solastalgia, is one that attempts to repair the damage that solastalgic environments are delivering to people. So if it's coal mining that delivers both climate change and solastalgia at the same time, then it's a double victory if we can address the solastalgia by stopping coal mining, preventing expansion of coal mining, and indeed worldwide, if we're going to stop the distress and damage that's going to be caused by climate change into the future, then a political concept that addresses the idea that both ecosystem health and human health are intimately tied, and that ultimately it's a human mutual aid, human engagement that's going to address these causes, then I think we can see the need for another concept that hitherto hadn't been well used in the environmental literature. So I thought that soliphilia, the idea of the coming together of people, the acting in unity, in solidarity, and that it's something that is a philia. It's something that we should have a love of doing rather than doing it because it's a duty or a necessity. That love can be expressed by working voluntarily with people to help places that are being damaged by humans. And so Trebi's work right from the beginning has been an act of soliphilia. And I've loved the idea that she created, which is that we all feel solastalgia, but it's a concept that it only makes sense to people who have within them the ability to love a place and to have an allegiance to place based on that love. And then, of course, when a force, an unwelcome force, comes in and colonizes and destroys that, the state of that environment and causes the solastalgia, it's something we wish to resist, something we wish to repair and turn around. And so soliphilia is intimately connected to solastalgia. You can't have one without the other.